Please proceed.
Witness, you were telling us about a press conference that took place and that members of the Pentagon were present. What transpired at this press conference? Do you recall?
As I said, there was...
Witness, remember, just listen to the prosecutor's question carefully and try to limit your answers to the questions he asked you. Try not to, again, inject your personal identifying information in your answers now that we're in public session. Thank you. A prosecutor, kindly repeat the question.
The press conference that you referred to, where the Pentagon members were present, do you recall what transpired during this press conference? And a simple yes or no will probably answer that.
Yes.
Do you recall why the press conference was called?
Yes.
Help us. Why was it called?
There were a group unknown group which came to the office and stole some of the property. So the ODM key leaders had to address the people because there were a lot of anxiety from the ground. People were intending to know what happened. And what the people who stormed the office took. So they had to let the public know.
And did the Pentagon members address the media, and what did they say?
There was a press conference, and they had to meet. They had talked, and then the Secretary General gave out the press conference, press briefing.
And do you remember what the briefing was? What were the press told?
The brief was about they were condemning the act of those people who stormed the office and took the ODM property.
Was there any mention of who might have been responsible for the theft of property?
The idea was, the general view was it could have happened due to the other party were intending to know more information about ODM. That's why they went further to storm and took some of the gadgets having information.
And when you refer to the other party, which party do you think this was?
The Party of National Unity Coalition.
Would that be the PNU? Is that the right acronym?
Yes.
Now, this press conference, do you know which media organizations were represented there?
There were quite a number of media houses, but majorly I can count just the mainstream of media in Kenya, like KTN, Nation TV, Citizen, K24, and others were also there.
Now, are those television stations that you've mentioned?
Yeah, those are television stations, but there were also other radio stations.
Now, regarding the radio stations, were there both national and regional radio stations? Do you recall?
Yes. There were vernacular stations, there were national. Those could address people in Swahili and English.
And the vernacular stations, what languages or what regions would they be covering or broadcasting to?
There are quite a number of vernacular media stations under Royal Media Services. Almost every tribe has a vernacular station, but the Ramogi was there, Kas was there, Kameme, Inoro, Radio Citizen, Radio Maisha, and others.
You mentioned CAS. This is one of the radio stations you mentioned yesterday in the course of your testimony as well. What region was CAS FM broadcasting to mainly? Do you recall? Do you know that?
CAS is for the Kalenjin.
Mr. Prosecutor, now that you've got that out of the way, maybe you might want to revert and get some spellings straightened out on the transcript.
Yeah, and I'll certainly do so. These are radio stations that the witness also mentioned yesterday. But could you help us with some spellings, Mr. Witness? Ramogi, how do you spell that?
I think we have Ramogi already, but if you look at the transcript, you see signs of more or less stress on the transcript and some omissions there. I do not recall whether was that Ingoro?
Inoro.
Inoro, whether that's already on the record, and others.
Was there one called Kameme, did you say?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
Kameme.
And I think one of the ones you also mentioned sounded like Radio Maisha. How are you spelling Maisha?
Maisha.
and you say CAS is for the Kalenjin, would it therefore be fair to assume that CAS would have been broadcasting mainly to the Rift Valley?
Yes, for that specific tribe.
At this particular press conference, do you recall who the representative of CAS FM was?
I cannot recall.
Do you know any of the presenters or representatives of CAS FM?
Yes, I do.
Which ones do you know?
I know Joshua Sam.
Do you know any others?
No.
And